Call this June 23rd Jackson County Commission meeting to order. Have a roll call.
District 1, Mr. Guthrie. Present. District 2, Mr. Guthrie.
Present.
District 3, Mr. Miller.
Present.
And District 4, Mr. Ledley.
Present.
Okay, quorum is present. We can conduct business, have an invocation by Mr. Porter and our pledge by Mr. Ledley.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. We are blessed to be here today, to be in your presence. We thank you for those that are serving, especially these men that are serving this county. But we thank you for all servants that are serving the public good throughout this county and throughout this nation. We pray you'll be with them and guide them and direct them. God, we thank you for our men and women in the armed services, and we pray that they will do a good job, that they will be safe, you'll hold them safe, and their families will be comforted while they're gone. So God, we pray for your guidance and your grace. We pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. I have a copy of the minutes from the June 16th meeting. Are there any changes before we proceed? We have a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. Next item is approval of the agenda for the meeting. I think when the agenda was sent out Friday, there was a accident in item number 8 that said motion and it had nothing said behind it. It was just an accident, it should have been removed. That noted, there are 2 additional items I would like to add to the agenda that went out Friday, and one of them is on here, motion to approve the COA transportation budget, and that goes to the state, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And also, I believe Mr. Porter had a report on the pending litigation as number 9. Okay, so are there any other changes before we proceed? Okay, we have 9 items in on the agenda with those changes. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I like that motion.
Motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. Had no awards and presentations, and I don't believe, has anyone signed up to speak this evening?
No. No.
Okay. No old business, so we'll go on to new business. First item, motion to approve and assist with the Bridgeport sidewalk project. The town of Bridgeport had requested several months ago that we assist in a project similar to the one that had been requested, or grant program requested here on the square. It would be $5,000 for this grant, and we would give it to them, of course, upon, I think they've already received the grant, we'd give it to them upon the beginning of the project. So is there any discussion or questions or comments on that? It is, like I said, a similar grant to the one that we applied for here for our downtown, and they are actually using that for their middle school.
This be funded out of 116.
Yes. Any other questions or comments? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the $5,000 appropriation?
I like that motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. Next item, motion to approve an agreement with CGI Communications. This was brought to us at the previous work session. Again, this is the videos that are placed online on our website. They'll work over the next 2 months to put these together, place them on the website. As Mr. Porter noted, the videos will not be recorded on our property in the sense they will belong to the company, to CGI Communications, and they'll place them on our website as an advertisement, talk about a little bit about Jackson County. So, any further discussion on this item?
Who will actually, okay, the actual video before it's placed on the website?
They said that they'll work with us as far as, what exactly is going to be on the video. We'll tell them, these are things we want covered in the video, and we'll get to see the video before it's placed on there. Ultimately, we control, what goes on the website, so if it's not something we want, we can always take it off. but our webmaster will put it on the website. Any other questions or comments? Do we have a motion on how we wish to proceed with this item?
I'll make a motion to accept the agreement.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
This is at no cost to the county.
Correct. Right. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay, next item is regarding HR consulting agreement. This again was brought to us at the previous work session. Only thing, basically the agreement is open for 1 year, and then we have the first statement of work also included, which would take care of the personnel handbook. We discussed a little bit about that last week. And Mr. Manning, did you have anything you wanted to share on that? Any thoughts on that? I know that you've worked with.
No, I think the way we had discussed it, where we would start, used to do the part one with the employee handbook part and kind of make a decision after that was done. She has done good work for a company I worked for in the past, so I would expect the same here.
Any other questions or comments before we proceed? And today, again, we found more concerns and more issues with the handbook that need to be addressed and detailed. So as we continue to go on, I think we're just going to continue to find things that need to be updated. So I do think this is a very important thing that needs to need to move forward with. And as I stated before, if we do move forward with this, we'll do this out of our contract services line for the commission.
And do you think once this is completed, not to exceed this price, we will have a handbook ready to be given out for
Right.
employees?
Any other questions or comments? Do we have a motion to accept the consulting agreement?
So moved.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The next item is motion to approve the current district maps. Mr. Porter, if you would report on those.
Sure. As we've talked about the last two meetings, I think, the question of the authenticity of the current district commissioner line has come into question on more than one occasion, and specifically during the primary that we had several weeks ago. There is a map that has the district lines on it. It has been used for many years. It has been considered authoritative for years. So I have prepared for the commission's consideration a resolution that actually adopts that map as the district lines as they are currently drawn. It doesn't change them, so there's no change in the district lines. It merely approves what is currently in place.
This is a copy of that map. Same map that we've been using, like you said, for several years.
So if the commission is in favor of that, then we need a motion to approve the resolution. It needs to be done by resolution.
Okay, so we have the resolution in front of us. Again, this was something that we had discussed previously. Are there any further questions or comments on this? And I think, that's a thinner line, I think, than what we've had before. We plan on blowing this up as well to provide hopefully a little bit more detail as far as the line goes, but we wanted to make sure it was visible. Any other questions or comments? We have a motion to approve the resolution along with the map.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay. Have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. Next item is assistance for the Boy Scouts. This again was brought to us at the previous work session. This would be allowing ourselves to haul 25 loads of gravel to the Boy Scout camp. I believe it was stated we need to declare this what's the correct terminology?
Matter of public interest.
matter of public interest. Like I said, there've been a lot of folks involved in this process, and of course, it is an area that the citizens of Jackson County can utilize, so I think it's important. There's no cost to us other than the labor of doing that transfer, and we do have some time to do that, so we can separate that over a month or two. So, any further discussion on this item?
Can we use this just as a fill-in to finish the day, or is it a specific time?
No, I think we can pick it up at any point in time. They've already purchased the gravel, so we can pick it up at any time and take it out there in our schedule.
If I may, probably the best way for us to handle that would be, we talked to the men about doing it on Friday. That way, because our trucks is always going different directions. And 25 loads, I believe, so we was wanting to try to work out something on Friday. So,
We look at that. I would like to see if, like Mr. Level said, if we do have some days, maybe wait a few weeks, if we do have some days where we see some folks coming in early, that we might be able to do some hauls, or have them come in maybe an hour or two early and see if we do some hauls that way. But if we can look at the schedule and see if there's any possibility on that.
Do they have something down there that they own that they're gonna spread the gravel with, or we don't have to have a contractor come in and spread the gravel?
They've got someone already, I don't know if they're contracted or they have someone helping, but they will have that happen. All we'll need to do is set it in one location.
I'm just concerned about if we take it over there in the course of a month, we're gonna have to haul a piece of equipment in there several times to
I
spread the
think they're
gravel.
gonna wait till we get it.
I was kind of thinking along that same lines. I don't know, but if we took a Friday and all the 4 trucks that we have, we could probably haul it off, easily in one day.
We can discuss that and
Okay.
figure out what we do. Any other questions or comments? Have a motion to approve or to declare this a public interest?
I'll make that motion.
Motion or a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Next item, motion to approve the water treatment program. We did receive a second, go over this, we do have some new information on this. You have 2 quotes, one from Jake, one from Jake Marshall, one from Garden Info. If you look on the first page there, you'll notice the total annual cost. That is for both the boiler and the chiller, or the cooling tower. If we add the cooling, or the cost on this other item, the other one actually is above that by $1,000. Of course, there is a $700 startup cost with the first agreement. So, first agreement will be less expensive if we go with both. If we go with just the cooling tower, then the second agreement will be less expensive. And you see that.
You're saying Guardian IPCO is got a better proposal than Jack Marshall, is that what you're saying?
Saying the cost if we went with both would be less with, yes. You see on Jake Marshall's, you'll see the first page, and then on the second page, it shows the additional cost of the boiler treatment. Mr. Guffey, do you have any thoughts on your experience with these items?
No, it's pretty much, whichever one's the cheapest, do that.
We have been using Guardian, I know for a while. I think there were some concerns as far as being able to do the additional work on it, but I guess we can see how that works for this year.
I think you're gonna get into a he said, she said when you got 2 different service companies, my opinion, especially on adding the boiler to it. Jake Marshall services the boiler, but they're not gonna be cleaning it.
They're doing the spring maintenance. We don't have a contract with them though, so it's very possible we could end up with another company at any point also.
The only concern I have, like I said, is Guardian's just not a service company. But if we're just gonna look at chemicals, I mean, Guardian, is that, we'll okay, but we wanna look at somebody putting their eyes on us who knows what they're doing, Jake, is gonna be a little bit better at identifying problems and heading them off before we become a major issue.
Do they have technicians that actually come and bring the chemicals and all? Okay. But yeah, that's a concern to settle last time. So is there a recommendation on how to proceed?
Actually, Jake Marshall's,
If you add the startup cost, I think they're just within $300 of each other,
Yeah, that's what I fixed to say, tell me the idea, they're about identical.
not $600.
actually, actually, Guardian Itco is, it's $52 difference in these proposals.
With the startup cost, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And there are no additional startup costs. Okay, one. We have a motion on how to proceed. I think that says it. We've not used Jake Marshall, so it might be worth giving it a shot.
I'll make a motion to take Jake Marshall's contract.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agreement with Jake Marshall. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion on this? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Next item, motion to appoint a member to the EDA board. I think the position of Jim Green has come up, actually, new term started this month, so entertain, open up the floor for nominations for the position.
I make a motion, we reappoint Jim Green.
Nomination for Jim Green.
I'll second that motion.
No other nominations then? If we have a motion and a second for Jim Green, any discussion? Do this to be sure we have no other nominations? No other nominations? No other nominations? Okay. We move forward, a motion and a second to appoint Mr. Green back to the board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. Next item, motion to approve the council on aging transportation budget. You have in your packets a copy of that budget. It's pretty similar to last year. There's an increase in the local match, I think, on the, if you see where it says total operating deficit, that's actually the difference between what is paid by that 20%. It shows a federal share and then a local match. And I understand that that's to be made up through some advertising revenues, I think, on the buses. So not a big concern on those dollars. I think it's about a $4,000 increase. Is that correct? 2,000 from last year? 6,000. Okay, 6,000 from last year. Everything else is substantially similar. This is what is submitted to the state, and of course, the fiscal year runs from October to September as well. It can be changed if we see some changes along the way, but this does need to be submitted to them. Of course, as we go through the budget process, we'll sit down and see if there are any other things that need to be addressed. But we do need to get something into the state at this time. Are there any questions or comments on this item? Do we have a motion to approve this budget to be presented to the state? And of course, the resolution, the authorizing resolution attached.
So moved.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Again, this is something that's done every year to have to be submitted to the state for the federal and state message. Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. Next item, our pending litigation, Mr. Porter.
Sure. This is a matter that's been pending for some period of time, and we have tentatively reached a resolution on pending the agreement and concurrence of the commission. Those terms have been discussed with the commissioners individually, so I think we understand what they are. If the commission is inclined to approve it, we will need a motion to to approve the settlement agreement and authorize the chairman to execute the agreement on behalf of the commission.
So we have a motion to approve that agreement.
Make that motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no.
No,
Anything else, Mr. Porter? Move on, that concludes the items on our agenda, move on to our reports, Mr. Manning.
Just mention that the budgeting process for this upcoming year is underway, so all department heads will be getting, or have probably already received their first meetings, or discussions and reviews to begin. So, that is underway. Also, talked to the audit supervisor today, Mr. O'Bannon, and he said the 2013 fiscal year audit will begin sometime right after July 4th. So, it'll be started relatively short period of time.
We've received the 2012 official final audit, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I think that's been sent to all the commissioners.
are we gonna try to do the department meetings like we did last year, or are we gonna do it together first and then go?
Right, yeah, we've got the meeting set up, and I'll get Ms. Hancock in the office to let you know when the initial meetings are, and then, of course, after that initial meeting, after they get all the information, we'll meet separately.
All right.
Anything else, Mr. Mayor?
That's all.
All right, thanks, sir. Mr. Whiter?
No, sir.
Mr. Porter?
Anything else?
Chief Deputy?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Miller?
No, sir.
Mr. Guthrie?
No, sir.
Mr. Denby?
Yes, our next community meeting, I would like to try to have it, the first Monday night of August at High Community Center. We set it up tentatively if they're complete, with the community center, and I'm still working on it, but I talked to them today, and they will be done in plenty of time for us to have our community meeting back.
So August 4th?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Ledney?
No, sir.
Concludes the items. I think we've mentioned about the budget and the audit, so we will be working on the budget, and I would like to say that we'll go ahead and plan for a budget meeting after every commission meeting in July and August. May not be necessary, but to leave that open so that if we do need to meet afterwards, we do need to go over the overall budget pretty quickly. Not get into individuals maybe so quick as far as those budget meetings, but we will need to get into the overall budget, kind of say where we're at, and where we look like we're going for next year. So we'll do that, try to do that the first meeting in July, if not the second. Okay, I think that concludes everything. We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion and a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in